Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690.
Hey y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. Let me tell you about my friends at Knoxville Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Popper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxvilleSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Don't let do-it-yourself become do-it-to-yourself. This is Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Hey y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that?
That's a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open-top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House. Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road. It's 800-548-3554, or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865-774-3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink: pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your windowsills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800-548-3554, or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better. Hey y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville, and Morristown. And you can call them today at 865-475-7777. 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that,
That's
brother?
a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'Cause it's Rick's House.
Free, there we go. Oh, Ricky, you stayed up watching TV too late last night. It's amazing what happens when you plug the microphone in. Isn't that great how that goes? You just plug it right on in there. There we go. Let's just turn that down a little bit. We're a little hot. Let's make sure that sounds better. Yeah, it's amazing what happens when you do that. Here we go. That sounds like a bunch of... There we go. Now we're back down there the way we should be. Good stuff on the program. All right, now we can rock and roll this morning. Good morning. How y'all doing? I was watching the news this morning and back home in East Tennessee, and y'all getting some rain up there, and the weather girl actually has a jacket on. I haven't seen what the temperature is. We're a little cooler in West Texas today. We woke up to about 71, 72. It's hot in the evenings. And then, of course, it's hot during the later part of the day. But we got that going on. And so it's going to be a cooler week this week. Hope you guys are having some cooler weather. I know it's been hot in East Tennessee. And that weather, the humidity is what just absolutely wears you out. I mean, humidity's tough, y'all. It really is. It's tough. It makes for a difficult time. And I, it's one of the reasons that we do what we do is because, we chase weather for some, we do. We chase weather, and that works out well. But really and truly, we're and at our age, we're doing two things: we're chasing weather, and we're chasing healthcare. I mean, that's just the truth of it. We have to be more aware of those things. I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday, and he lives out in Washington State, and he's out there with his grandkids and his with his son and his daughter-in-law, but he's the same way. He's like, here's the reason I live out here is because I told him, I said, it's like 96. And he said, he said it's 72 here. Now, the disadvantage to that in Washington State, and Brian Eckdahl will tell you this, the disadvantage to that is it also rains a lot. And I have a hard time with the rain. Now, I want to tell you guys, I had a lot of trouble with my neuropathy. And once you've got neuropathy, you've got neuropathy. That's not something they can fix, not something they can cure. It's just, that's the way it is. But I was talking to a guy the other day about a product, and I've said this on the air before. I was talking to him about a product that is alpha lipoic acid. That's alpha lipoic, LIOPOIC, I think it is. I don't know. I'll have to pull the bottle out in a minute. But alpha lipoic acid. And if you're experiencing issues with neuropathy, it's helpful. The biggest problem for me is that I can't take anything for pain because of my AFib. I'm on blood thinner, which is Eliquis. But that's a good looking hat. It's GFL, brother. Some sisters at GFL this morning. So I can't take anything for pain. So the end result of that is that, I just hurt all the time. And Amy's done a great job. She helps me with the use of essential oils and things that she knows how to do that are just phenomenal. And they help me greatly. Our cat this morning, Mr. Boho, short for Bohemian Bandit, as we say, as Jack Black says, he's got wiggles today. He's getting his wiggles out, so he is wild and woolly. But I'd like to talk to you about today. I'm excited about the program and just lots of different things that I wanted to share with you and things as we're thinking about. A lot of folks our age, and we talk a lot about being on the road, and then I watch a lot of YouTube. Amy and I do. We stream everything. I mean, we have local TV channels, but we just don't see the need for local cable. Because honestly, everything that we want to watch, we can see right there on YouTube. If it's not on YouTube, we pretty much don't watch it. I mean, we can see it right there. That's not an issue. We can also watch it. Most things we can watch just by. There we go. Now, here we go. Okay, I was making sure I got my volumes turned up correctly. Most of the things that we like, we can watch just by YouTube, honestly. And then, like this morning, I'm watching Channel 10, WBIR, back home to see what's going on so I can talk, about what's going on at home. And then in addition to that, we watch Fox News and MSN News and whatever else. I like to get a variety of different perspectives of what's happening. What about you this morning, Big Daddy? Brother Evan Dubose in the house this morning. Permachink. Hey, and you're looking good on there. I was watching the broadcast yesterday. If you're up at it, I'll send you a link. You can come on with me. And we'll talk about that. Permachink in the house this morning. But we watch most of that stuff online because we can see what we want to, and I can watch it during that. And so I watch a lot of videos, and I was, I guess it's the dad. I mean, there's a little couple that we watch that are out in Arizona. Oh man, rain! I knew y'all were getting a bunch of rain up there. I'll send you a link. Let's see while we're doing that. But anyway. It's a little couple that I watch, and they're young, and of course Amy and I watch them, and it reminds us of when we first got started and doing our thing, and of course the dad in me critiques that. Boy, that's a glare on, that's off. I'm gonna take that off. Well, I got to see. But the long and the short of it is that they are making an off-grid compound that's awesome. All right, I'll send it to you. Let me work on it. All right. Share stream. I don't want to do that. So anyway, they're doing that, and they're finding their way, and they're young. I mean, they're really young, and so they've got their cabin that they're doing. They've got the chicken pen. They got all that stuff going on. I mean, it's really cool, and they got that happening. And the thing about it is that they're just experimenting. And they were talking yesterday about something that had happened about somebody who was being ugly. Honestly, was just being ugly. And I was like, no, that's not working for me. That's just not working for me. And they were saying, look, if you don't like the way and they were dogging them about, how she didn't, get up and get dressed for the show and all this bunch of crap. And, and they basically said, look, if you don't like it, don't watch it. I thought, you know what? Good for you. Good for y'all, good for y'all. So, that's what we were doing. And I thought, but I was watching them, and they were talking about they'd went on YouTube University, they call it. They'd went on YouTube University and had done this. And, the thing about it is they were learning how to do sheetrock. Now, mine and Amy's question was, hey, why are y'all, excuse me, why are y'all doing that? Here we go. All right, Evan, I sent that to your, sorry, y'all, I was trying to do two things at once. I sent that to your personal email. So anyway, so they were talking about how to do it. So they were putting sheetrock in. They had a little building that's a secondary building that they're doing, and they were shooting putting sheetrock in there. And Amy's like, well, why would you do that if you're going to move it and this, that, and other? And I'm like, well, they're young. They want sheetrock. And I said, if we were young and we were doing a building like that and you wanted sheetrock, I'd do it. If we're old like we are now and you wanted sheetrock in there, I'd do it. And so I was watching them. Of course, I was critiquing it. Not from a, oh, you didn't do that right, dude. Not from that perspective, but from the perspective of, well, if they'd have done this, just because that's the way my mind works. I've been doing this since I was 15 years old, and I'll be 58 this year. So, you see things that could happen. The dad in me is going, hey, if you do, I'm wanting to go, hey, if you do this, it'll be easier. If you do that, it'll be easier. Hey, it'll be this, it'll be that. It's all that kind of thing. And so the long and the short of it is that I should have, but I enjoyed it. But I noticed a few things that they were doing. The first mistake that they made, which they did a great, honestly, starting out doing what they were doing with the sheetrock, they really done a great job for the first. Brother Bob, how are you this morning, my brother? It's so good to see you back with us. I got a recipe for you this morning on the cast iron cooking. I've got to get that added to Facebook, and we're working on it. We're adding some stuff, not to Facebook. It's on Facebook, but we got to get that added on the YouTube side of things. So you can do that. Evan, let me know if you get that link that I sent to you. But anyway, so good to see you this morning. Good morning, brother. Always good to have the master wallpaper in the house. And Bob, I was talking about watching these young folks on YouTube, and they were doing sheetrock, and I was just critiquing them as it was going, not in a bad way, but in a dad way, you know, almost like if I could be there saying, okay, here's what I've learned. Let me share this with you. And I got to thinking, that's what we do on Rick's house. Now, I know the camera's bouncing around because it's sitting on my belly. I decided to do it from the chair this morning and not move it over and all that stuff. To be honest with you, we were up late, and I didn't set it up on my desk this morning. I just set it up in a chair because it was comfortable. So anyway, long story short, but you know, you take somebody like Bob, who has been painting and wallpapering forever, and you learn over a period of time. I'm good at sheetrock because I had a good teacher. Now, sheetrock's one of them things that you can either do or you can't. You know, painting, you can either do it or you can't. Wallpaper, you can either do it or you can't. Those are things. Electric, you can either do it or you can't. I mean, everybody has the things they can do and the things that they shouldn't attempt. I have many, many things I should not attempt. But that being said, we try them anyway. So this little couple, they were doing their sheetrock. Of course, I saw a few things. The first mistake they made is they used, jambalaya would be good. Oh, yeah. This recipe is something I just came up with, Bob. I just came up with it by accident. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to finish my little story here about the sheetrock, my brother, and we'll jump over on that. It's a chicken recipe that just, Amy said, man, that's a keeper. And it's those things, and it's simple. It's so simple. It's 4 ingredients, and but it's about the cast iron. The cast iron makes the difference and makes the absolute difference. I mean, it's crazy. What the cast iron cooking. And as I learned, you're scared of cast iron. Everybody is, because you're scared. Well, it's going to stick. Well, it's going to do this. No, not when you learn how to use it. There's a reason it's been cooked and been being used to cook for 300 years. I mean, or 200 years or whatever it is. 250 anyway. So good stuff on the program. But the young couple, the first mistake they made is they used quick drying joint compound, which quick drying joint compound is okay if you're going in to make a repair and you don't want to make multiple trips back, and you got to do all that. That's part of it. Evan, I hope you got that link, brother. Excuse me. So quick drying is good when you're going to do that. But if it's your first time and it's new construction, you've got time to let it dry. It's hard to work with. It's lightweight. You got to get the consistency right, and then you got a limited amount of time to make it happen. Now, a couple of things that I saw about that was, and honestly, they did a really good job, but they didn't. You've got to have multiple, you start with nail holes. We're using a little 1.5 2 inch putty knife. When we go up to wider things like seams where you have to use more where the boards join, or when you go to corners and you do all those kinds of things, there's specialty tools that we use, because the idea is to feather that sheetrock mud out, so that it's all about limited sanding. Okay. The more mud that you put on it. All right, brother, you on there? Mayday, mayday. Can I hear you? All right, we'll get Evan on there in just a second. But so the more mud you put on there is the more mud that you have to sand off. And so it's thin coats, feathered right. If we're doing a seam between two boards, then we want to do multiple we're going to use a wider knife so that it feathers and you don't have that hump in it. And then also you want to make sure that between each coat that you smooth it. The one issue that I saw that may cause them a problem, and I'll be excited to see the next few that they talk about it, is they were using lightweight tape, lightweight joint compound, and then they were using paper tape. and that paper tape, they didn't seat it well in there, and that's hard to do with lightweight. If I'm going to use lightweight, and I don't know what the rules are this on, I don't care what the rules on it, but if I'm going to use lightweight, then I'm going to use fiberglass tape because that saves you a step. Because it naturally sticks to the sheetrock because it's got an adhesive on the back side of it. And because it has that, it allows you to get the mud back there through it. And so they didn't get the mud back underneath good enough. So I'm saying that could and possibly be a problem for them. I don't know. Evan, you in there yet, brother? I see you. I don't see you. I see a big E, but I don't hear you yet. So he's working on that. But I've got you on here, and I don't think I've got you turned off. So just let me know. So anyway, so that's the kind of stuff we got going on this morning. We've got just watching them do that. But, you know, I was almost like a proud dad watching them because, you know, they were, and Amy and I were talking, you know, something that can be learned from that's important is, you know what, for their age, to get out there and say, hey, this is how we're going to live. This is the lifestyle that we're going to have. I'll give them kudos because we didn't do it. And looking back on it, hey, you can always say, well, you should have done this, you should have done that. But the thing about it is looking back on it, wish we would have. But hey, coulda, shoulda, woulda is what somebody said a while ago. So anyway, all that being said, good stuff on the program. So we got lots of things going on today, and then of course we got these recipes coming up. Let me see if I got you. All right, Evan's working on his microphone. He's setting up. I see him this morning, like a good drummer and a band man should. He's setting up and getting ready to rock and roll with us from Permachink. So we'll talk about that. But you know, we've got some. There's also two ladies that are up in Arkansas that one of them is a phenomenal carpenter. I mean, she's a great carpenter, of course, and you can tell she's been doing it a long time, knows her business, does a great job. Does she do it exactly like I do it? No. Do I do it like she? No. But does she learn something from me? She would probably. Can I learn something from her? I do every time I watch them. So interesting stuff on the program. All right, brother, let me know when I can hear you. You're free to talk at will. Let me take you off the stream now. Let me put you back on the stream. There you are. So we'll get that up and going this morning. And you can always text me when you get ready, Evan. So lots of stuff to talk about. So just watching the YouTube, I mean, I really, we enjoy that. The kick that I'm on right now is so many folks that we're talking to as we talk with folks. We've been talking to folks in the campground today. I've got Rick's house has got the itch. It's time to move. Great place here. We love it. Nice folks, super nice folks here at the campground, but we've got an opportunity to move a little further north here in West Texas. Because there's some health care that we need to look after about getting some of our stuff done. And so it's going to take us up toward Lubbock, Texas, home of Buddy Holly. So that's going to be happening here this month. And there's also some other stuff that we've got going on. So we're going to be bringing you new stuff and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I'm thinking about is a lot of folks our age are, not only are they they're leaving when they find that place that they like, they're leaving their main travel trailer there. And then after that, what they're doing is they're getting my hat on, right? After that, what they're doing is they're getting something smaller. And one of the things I've been looking at and thinking about is a cargo trailer. You know, Brother Tony Johnson, who travels all over. Ruby, good morning. Good morning. Brooke, good to see you this morning. Good to see y'all this morning. Thanks for joining us on the program. One of the things that they're doing, I think we're going to do this, is we like to do our travels. But when we do that, we don't want to drag this thing. You know, it's big. You know, we're 65 feet when I'm dragging this down the road. And as I'm getting older, that's becoming an aggravation. Plus, we've got everything set up like a house, so we're looking for a place that that we don't have to move it as often. And so to do that, what the thoughts are is, do we get something that we can drive, to make our trips if we want to run to the beach, or we want to run over to New Mexico, or we want to go see my buddy Mike over in Dallas, or, we need to run back to Tennessee for something, or, whatever. And so I really am kicking that idea around. And one of the things that we're talking about and I'm watching and learning about is, we're watching and learning about, cargo trailers. Evan's going to call me back. He's off for a second. He's getting his stuff in order, so that's good. So if you need me to send you that link again, brother, let me know. So we got that going on. And man, there's so much you can do with the cargo trailer. And I also like the idea of the stealth camping. They're pretty inconspicuous. And that makes it, I'm not going to camp anywhere. I'm not going to be camping in front of somebody's house in the neighborhood unless I needed to. But long story short, there's something to be said with not drawing attention, because that way you get a true feel for the neighborhood, and you get to have, I think I hear you.
Yeah. Is that better now?
That's better now. What about you? Well, you ain't gonna grace us with a visual presence this morning?
Oh, I'm on my big computer in here. I don't have a camera on it.
Oh, I got you. Well, good morning, brother Evan.
Good morning.
From Permachink this morning. Y'all got a good podcast thing going on. I caught some of it the other day, and that's looking good. How's that going?
It's going pretty good. We're starting to pick up on a little bit. We've got some stuff coming up this week, so I think we're doing another one Thursday around the same time, but I don't know exactly what we're going to do yet. Haven't quite made our mind up yet on it.
Well, that's the beauty of just getting going on it, getting it started. You find your way on what works good for y'all and what works good for the team and the folks that are listening and watching, and all those kinds of things. And that's what I was talking about this morning, watching YouTube. And I was, when I've got stain questions and I've got wood care questions and I want to, brag on the wrong product, I called Evan. I don't know what made me spit that out, but anyway, because, that's what you do. And that's what I was talking about this morning, was I'm watching this little YouTube couple, and they're young, but you know what, man, they're just getting out there and doing their thing. They're off grid out in Arizona. And they've got I don't know who it is does their theme song, but he's a rapper, and I'm not big on rap, but I like rap too. I like all kinds of music, but they've got the coolest theme song. It's not as cool as Rick's House, but it's pretty close. So they got that going on, but they were jumping in there, and I'm like the old man on there critiquing, go, oh no, don't do that, do this,
Yep.
And but you know what, they for their first time doing sheetrock, they done a good job. And that's the beauty of what we do in podcasting is, you can get that information that you need. And of course, with a great company like Permachink that we're proud to be associated with, you guys have got so many products that as I dig deeper into it, I find out about, hey, it's not just log cabins, it's decks and wood restoration and dealing with. I remember one time that over in the Fourth and Gill area there at home, there was a painter over there. My wife's aunt lived over off Eleanor there in Fourth and Gill. And there's a couple of those houses that have, I guess that's a federal style. It's got the great old big tall columns. I mean, there's like 4 or 6 of them on it. I mean, they're probably, you can't put your arms around them. They're so big, and they're fluted, from bottom to top. You know the ones I'm talking about. Well, this painter, and Bob up in New Jersey will appreciate this morning. That's Brother Bob listening to us. He is wallpaper painter. He's quit painting, but he's wallpaper man deluxe. So he is a man of patience, obviously. And he specializes, Evan, now dig this, he specializes in silk on walls. Now that ain't cheap.
No, that's not.
You got to be, you know what? Can you imagine trying to put silk on a wall?
Yeah, no.
I'd
Absolutely
look like
not.
dog when I got done with it.
Yeah, me and you both. Trust me.
It looked like the caterpillar had a bad day.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I was talking to this painter, and I'll never forget this. And he was going to do some painting for me. And he also is a guy that told me about to get wallpaper removed. And Bob, you can tell me whether this is a good idea or not. He used water and Downy fabric softener and a paper tiger. That was his formula. You score it up, and then you use the Downy and the water, and he said just take that glue right off. But anyway, I remember talking to him and just looking at this. I mean, and literally he had like the top, the bridge in between the flutes was one color. The inside of the flute was another color. The column caps and bases were another. I mean, it was ridiculous, and it's still over there. It's a beautiful house. And I just asked him, I said, man, what kind of shape were those columns in? And he said, oh, Satan. Do not speak to me about these columns.
Oh,
And
man.
and they were, I mean, they're 75 years old and had absolutely no care whatsoever. And he's had to hand sand them things and try to repair them. And every time I think about that, I think about, man, if he'd have just knew about Permachink, and if I'd have knew about Permachink back then, and the products that you have for wood restoration that actually work instead of putty like we used to have and still have that just dries up and you can't get, because y'all have two products for that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, you start getting into wood restoration, Rick, you can sometimes open up a can of worms that you didn't quite expect to get into. I like that comment. The best way to remove wallpaper is to call somebody else to do it.
Amen. Yeah. Call Bob. He come down there and do it. I promise you. Bob said, I work in $20 million houses. I said, go ahead, Big Daddy.
So
he's been his whole life. He's the master.
Well, that's what we had last time I was on here. We were talking about it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Well, yeah, when we start getting into wood restoration, sometimes you can find things that, you don't want to get into. But, with the beauty of E-Wood and Embalm, you can stop it at the source and actually make it look like wood again. With E-Wood, when it hardens, I've said it multiple times, you can carve it, sand it, put a nail in it, stick a screw in it. It is one of the best products, I think, on the market when it comes down to wood restoration. Now, the Embalm, your initial step, is just a consolidator, just an extra little piece of almost two-part epoxy that you're going to spray on there just to harden that wood up and give the E-Wood something to bond to. But if you're going to do something, you're not going to use the Embalm, you might as well not use the E-Wood, because if you don't use both of them at the same time, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money. Got to use them both.
I was watching this. I was talking about this little. It's these two ladies, and I can't remember the name of their podcast right now on YouTube, or their channel on YouTube. It'll come to me, but they caught my attention because it's the first one I ever saw said two old fat ladies building a deck or something like that, and I thought I gotta watch this. It got my attention because I thought, you know what, and they're older ladies, and they're good. One of them does Jan. Jan don't do no talking. She just looks like a contractor. She does her thing, and then the other one, she does all the talking. Anna Marie, she does all the talking. But they were, but she did new countertops in the house, and something that I had forgotten about, and this is something that you could speak to, I think, this morning, is the importance of, when we talk about those columns like we were talking about a while ago, the reason he was going to rebuild them is because he can't afford to replace them.
Yeah.
The cost of those things to replace today would be hundreds. You're talking about those 4 columns, that's $100,000 plus. Easy. So, but one of the things I was watching her do, and it's the first person I've seen do this in a while, but is we don't talk enough about conditioning wood.
No.
And that's something that I made the mistake of the first time I got into this when I was a kid. But, if you're going to stain wood, you got to condition wood.
Yeah, you got to make sure that one of the things we see a lot of issues with, not only with our products, with other people's products, is the lack of surface prep. If you do not properly prep it before you stick any kind of stain on it, whether it's ours, Sashco's, Sherwin-Williams, whoever it is,
Right.
you're dead in the water from the start.
See,
And,
that's so important.
you know, and let's just say, you know, bucket Ultra 7 is $509.99. Why are you going to spend $500 on a bucket of stain when you're not going to do the right surface prep to begin with? You might as well just take it around the back and dump it in the storm drain or throw it in the dumpster and go on.
Wow. There's the. I mean, that's just the proof in the pudding right there. That's calling it like it is.
I mean, it is. I've had that conversation when I was in Sevierville with multiple people. They go, well, I'm not going to wash or I'm not going to do this. I said, well, buddy, you know, if you go around the building right there, there's a dumpster. You might want to just take that bucket and throw it right in there.
Absolutely. It's you know, and I know that Bob will tell us prep's the key. Just as you just said. I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't prep it properly. You can't. If you don't start right, you don't finish right. It's just that simple. It's that. But you know, we're not educated, and that's why it's great to have Permachink, who's been doing this for a million years.
Yeah.
And someone like yourself, because how many times have I called you, Evan?
Quite a bit.
What do we do?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we do about it? Yeah, because I don't. That ain't what Rick does. He don't know nothing about that. That's why we have Evan. I call Evan and go, hey, I was thinking about doing this. What do you think?
Yep, and then I'll let you know. Yeah, you can do this, but this is what's going to happen. So you may want to do this instead.
Exactly, because I ain't going to reinvent the wheel. You know, I'm going to call somebody that knows and talk about it like that, and that's important. You know, because prep is the key. You know, I was talking about this young couple doing this sheetrock, and I'm going, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't use that tape. You need to use this tape. Oh, you didn't start out with ultralight joint compound. Just get you an old bucket of joint compound and thin her down a little because it's been sitting in the warehouse for a month and it's drying out a little. Well, I don't care if it's in a plastic bucket and it's sealed. Put a little water in there. You know, I mean, yeah. I'm talking to myself. Amy goes, who are you talking to? I said, myself. I'm talking to these youngsters right here on this TV and they ain't listening. But they did a great job. I mean, I'm not going to critique them. That's how you learn.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's how you learn. Most of I learned that on home improvement. I learned it the hard way, but at $509.99 a bucket, that don't take long. I can't learn that way. I can't afford it. Bob says prep is very important. You can't make wallpaper look good on a bad surface. That's true.
Yep.
That's true. And that's true with anything. I mean, if you don't get it prepped right, it looks like dog.
Sure.
I was going to ask you, they were they were the first people I've done this. You know, when I started building, it was back in the day of wood sash windows. Oh. And we all used them, and they're the biggest. Just the shop built wood sash windows are the biggest junk. Did I say that out loud? Yeah. Because I mean that's back when we had Huddig sash and door, and you know they're the biggest junk because you know the thing about it is that they're using sashes from one place, glass from another. Balances from another place. You know, the window may have 5 different companies. And I mean, you know, they're not built. They're a shop built window. They're built for what they're built for. They have a purpose in life. It's to cause me aggravation. They're made to. Sorry, I laughed and bounced on this old belly, but they're made to last 1 year. I mean, if they make it through the time you got a warranty, you're doing something. But so we also had to use wood interior doors. And I'm telling you something, if you don't condition a wood interior door before you try to put stain on it, it looks like a spotted dog.
Oh, yeah. That's what I've had to do. So we redid a bunch of doors in this house. I think I've still got 15 doors I've got to stain. But I did a couple of them with Minwax because, again, when you look at interior doors, I mean, this is almost any wood interior door across the country and probably across the world, unless they've changed the milling process. They're so tightly packed together. If you look at the instructions on those doors, it tells you to use an oil-based product. It
Right.
does not tell you to use a water-based product. Reason why is because that water-based product is not going to penetrate the same way that oil will.
Right.
So, 2 doors in the back of the house, I mean, I did a lot of playing and a lot of mixing and things like that, and I found a color that works, that matches the walnut that we stained all the trim, because I used our interior walnut from Permachink to stain all the trim in the house.
That's a beautiful
And
color.
yeah, and I got it somewhat matched, but it's not an identical match. So,
Right.
you know, my wife, she wants me to go back and do, the stain that matches the trim, which it can do it. It's just, it's not as easy to do on those doors, and it doesn't look as good because you're going back with a film building product rather than a penetrating product. So that
Right.
film builder, while I'm going to stick a polyurethane over the top of it, it's still not going to hold up the same way that oil base with a polyurethane will.
Well, and you think about that too. I was watching 2 fat ladies building a deck or whatever they're called
Yeah.
now on their program. It's dreams and something. Let's see, big dreams on a tiny budget or something like that. But anyway,
There you go.
and she was doing her countertop, and she took and ripped down some 2x6s and made a countertop, and then she was going to stain it, and then she put her poly on there and all that, and it turned out real good. And she did use wood conditioner, but yesterday's episode was they had built steps, and they do what we all do when they were running out of screws, and she had 2x6s. Actually, she had 5/4 boards on her deck steps. And so she wanted to get the steps so she could get up and get in and get out.
Yeah.
And so what she did was she was running out of screws. And so she just tacked them down. A couple screws here, a couple screws there, with what she had so she could get in and out without falling. And then she was going to go back the next day and get more screws and finish screwing them down. Well, what happened? She got busy doing something else. Oh, hey, Nicole, good morning. She didn't do it. So it went on for a week. Well, her topic yesterday was trying to straighten them boards. Well, I got news for you. You ain't going to straighten them boards.
No, you ain't. Once that
Because
warms, you're screwed.
Once it warms, you're screwed. I mean, that's the bottom line. Because, and people say, Rick, why does pressure treated bend? Because it's dense and sparse. Each board comes out of a different part of the tree, and it's going to absorb it. I don't care if they use a vacuum system to pull it in, they dip it. I don't care, but that moisture in that solvent is going to evaporate at different rates because the wood has it's dense and sparse, and it causes it to move at different rates, and that's what makes it do that.
Yeah.
And so that being said, there's certain things you got to do. That's why your pressure treated lumber, if it's outside at your lumber yard, it's banded, because that's the only way you're going to hold it down. Most of the time it's inside, it's banded, and it's inside in the shade where the sun can't get to it to cause that problem. I mean, that's just part of it. And so, it's just one of those things that you got to do. And that's where we're talking about prep this morning. And like I said, wood conditioner. I mean, if you ever tried to stain a door like we were talking about, we got a lot of folks joining us this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. But if you've ever seen a door, it looks like a dog with a mange. If you don't if you don't put conditioner on it,
Do you know when I first did? So we got a pocket door back here that we did, and I put one coat on it the first time, and dear Lord, if I had to go back and sand that off, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
No.
You were talking about walnut this morning, and this is one of the topics I had in my show prep today, and I thought this was interesting. There's a little boy on the TV on YouTube. And like I said, I meant to write his name down, which I probably did, and then I got sidetracked because I ain't going to late. We stayed up way late last night, and Daddy wasn't. I started at 4, but I finally quit hitting the alarm snooze button at about 6. I got to set 5 alarms. I got alarms set all over the house. So I have to physically get up and get to them. But
Get you
Anyway.
a foghorn in there.
Give me a what?
Get you a foghorn in there.
I know that's right. But anyway, we were. I was watching him, and his thing is this kid's about 12, and his dad's obviously a cabinet maker, some kind of person that does woodworking, because he's got a full blown, I'm talking about, man shop. I mean, he has got a cabinet shop that looks like, yeah. I mean, he's got planers and joiners and rip saws and band saws and table saws and every jig known to man for, making dovetails and pockets. And I mean, I could play in there. But anyway, but this little boy, what he does is he takes his dad's scraps and he makes stuff and he sells it on YouTube.
Wow.
He's got a thriving little business going.
Well, people are all into that now.
And one of the things that he was doing, and I watched this, and I asked Amy, I said, what would you pay for this? Because I'm just curious. Would you buy one of these, and how much would you pay for it? But he took scrap walnut, black walnut.
Yep.
And he cut it, and then he ripped it, and he made black walnut spatulas.
Oh.
And they were absolutely gorgeous.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it one bit.
And he said, and he made 20 of them. He made 20 of them, and he takes it. Oh, I know. But, he's a kid. He ain't got nothing else to do. So, so he's got a belt sander, and he sat down and he belt sands the edges and rounds the end and he just took a marker and just freehanded it out on and he got them all about the same. I'm like, man, he's done this before. And he belt sands those things, and lo and behold, dude, he had it going on. And I told Amy, I said, would you buy one of those? She said, yeah, I'd buy one. I'd like to have one. I said, what would you pay for it? I said, $14. She said, I wouldn't pay $14 for it. I said, that's good. That's good. Jew him down, mama. Jew him down. Don't go on the high end, go on the low end. Come on. And so all that being said, but the truth of it is that, this kid is taking, and his whole thing, he was making carpenter bee traps.
Those right there, I know somebody used to make those. You can make a killing off them things.
Dude, up in your part of the world up there, where, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, carpenter bees are the devil.
I'm going to tell on myself here on what I did one day.
Lay it out there.
I took a birdshot shell, and I dumped all the birdshot out, filled it full of old kosher salt. I went out there and I blasted. Man, I probably took down like 10, 15 bees.
Had a good time doing it too.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think it was going to be as loud as what it was, but yeah.
The neighbor said, that boy from Florida, he's crazy. He said, here he goes again. Bang, bang.
I made sure I was the only one home when I did that.
Mama wasn't there?
No. I'll never do that again, though. That was a one-time thing, but it worked.
I used to swat them with tennis racket.
Yeah, you trying to be Roger Federer out there and swat them bees over that tennis?
Oh yeah, you know it. And we had two little boys beside us in the campground that were from Hawaii. And so they were born in Hawaii. Their dad was military. Their dad and mom were military, and they were born in Hawaii. So, when they got to East Tennessee, they were having to learn about, big bees, and they were real curious kids. So we was at the store one day. I think it was at Rural King, matter of fact, and we just enjoyed it. They'd come over, and Amy had planted a Heidi from Top Septic was growing those grape tomatoes, those little tomato tomatoes, plants. And she had a bunch of plants, so she gave Amy one, And so we took it back and had it at the campground. And so it was making these little red tomatoes. And man, they were so good. And I mean, just delicious. And so them boys had come over, and I seen them one day. They were over there. They were eyeballing it. You know, they were looking at it, you know. And Amy said, well, you boys want a tomato? And they were like, you know, and she said, well, she said, I don't care if you have one, but you need to ask your mom, because they were nice folks, but they were earthy people. You know what I'm saying? The kids got that. The candy they ate was that Mama made it, and she didn't want the number 5 red and all that, you know, stuff. Which is that's their business. That's all good. You know, I ain't saying nothing about it. So I wasn't going to give nothing to no kid unless Mama and Daddy said it was okay.
Right.
And so they were like, so they asked their mom. So they went over and asked her, and she said, yeah, if it's okay with Mr. Rick and Miss Amy. And we said, oh, yeah, it's fine. And so that was their thing every morning. They get up and come over to see if there was tomato ready to pick. We didn't get any more tomatoes off that plant. Those got, those they got, anyway, we had more fun watching them kids pick those tomatoes and enjoy them than we did doing that.
Yeah.
But I have no idea where I was going with that story. That's a dad moment. So I was in Rural King, and I went over to get, you know, Rural King's got a great deal on oil if you can catch it.
Oh, yeah.
On synthetic oil. They got a great price on that. So I was in there getting some oil for the truck, and Amy said, do you have any more of those swatting things that you buy? You know, it's like you can get them at Harbor Freight too. It's like a tennis racket, but you put the batteries in it and it goes, you know, it shocks the bug, you know. It don't take much to entertain me, Evan. I'm pretty simple. You know, but that being said, I said no, and I looked around, they were like, I don't know, $5 a piece or something. And so I bought 3 of them. I bought me one and bought them one, each one of them boys one. So when I went home that evening, I asked her dad, I said, do you care if I give him one of these? He was like, no, that's cool. So the next morning they come over to pick tomatoes. I was out there with my racket. I didn't show them that I had them one. I was out there just now swatting, and they come over there and they were just watching me, and I could tell they were dying to get their hands on it. And I'm like, and one of them when he finally said, Mr. Rick, I said, yeah. I said, what are you doing? I said, I'm swatting these bugs. He said, why? I said, because I don't like bugs. He said, I don't like bugs either. I said, you want to swat the bug? And he said, yeah. I said, well, hold on. So I handed him one. His brother looked at me like, where's mine? You know, and so I gave them both. Them boys, I enjoyed, until we left there, we was there another month or so. They had the biggest time with the $5 electric swatter until they started swatting each other, and then of course they lost them. Mama took those away, but you know, you know, I said, Amy said, "How long do you think it's going to be before they're hitting each other over the head with that?" And I said, "Oh, probably by the end of the day." They also learned about leaving the chicken outside in the tent at night.
Yep.
Because Mr. Raccoon knows how to unzip that tent.
Yes, they do. And
he had chicken dinner. And bless them. I felt sorry for them. They were so upset. He said, that old raccoon came in and unzipped that tent and got my chicken. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, that raccoon was happy.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what you get. That's the joys of living on the road. You know, you get that kind of stuff, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's so I swapped me a carpenter bee in a heartbeat, because I mean, bless them, they'll destroy wood.
Yes, they will.
And once they put that pheromone in there, they're coming back.
Yep.
They're coming back.
Now,
What do y'all have anything for them?
We don't have anything we manufacture for them. We do have a product that we've tested that works really, really well. It's called Tempo, Tempo, S as in Sam, C as in Cat, Ultra. You can get it on Amazon. It's just a general insecticide. I actually used to spray a type of it when I was still commercial farming, when I was still doing row crop tomatoes.
Right.
We used to spray a variety of that, and it works really well. But you got to keep up with it. Once you start it, you can't stop it.
Yeah, because
I
So
can't.
they
I
come in
can't.
and they burrow in, and then they'll burrow in a piece of wood, and then they'll make a left or a right and go 3 or 4 feet back in there.
Correct, and that's where a lot of people get confused on like the borates. Because borates, they take care of wood ingesting insects. Well, carpenter bees don't ingest the wood. They're just drilling a hole to go in there and lay larvae. Your wood
I didn't
ingesting
know that.
insects, yeah, they don't eat any of the wood. They just drill into it to lay their larvae and they get out. So
No
with
joke. I didn't. You've taught me something this morning. I did
yeah,
not know that.
so when you got borates and things like that, it only takes care of your termites, your powder post beetles, your carpenter ants, anything that actually ingests the wood and eats it. Doesn't do
I did not
anything
know
to the
that.
carpenter bees.
Well, you've taught me something else this morning. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Um,
So if somebody tells you to spray borate on your home to help against carpenter bees, they're full of it. Don't listen to them. It don't work. You're wasting your money.
wow. Good. See, you won't get that anywhere else this morning. Only on Rick's house this morning,
Mm.
or on the Permachink website podcast on Thursdays.
Yep, and we have it, and there is a full. If you go on our website, go to our homeowner section, there is a full page of nothing but tech tips. And all of your tech tips as far as pests and things go will be on there as well.
Oh, that's good information.
Hmm.
That's the thing, I've got to the point in life where I don't remember things like I used to. So I got to have my go-to places where I can go to and remember that.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to take a time out to hear from some of the people that bring you this program, like our friends at Permachink. And Daddy needs more coffee, and because it's a coffee kind of day. Is it still raining up there in East Tennessee?
Let me look out the window real quick. Oh no, but I can't see House Mountain, so it's
Oh,
coming.
oh, it's coming. That's for sure. It is beautiful and sunny here, with the usual wind that we have. So I'm gonna get some coffee. We're gonna hear from some of those folks, and then we'll be right back with my buddy Evan and myself. And I'm gonna tell you about the latest cast iron cooking deliciousness that I stumbled upon
Mm.
this week. That my bride said, write that down. I know you won't remember it. That's a keeper. So we're gonna talk about that and more conversation about how you can preserve your house and whatever else may come along the way. It's Rick's house. It's Saturday morning, and hey, we're glad to have you with us. Good morning, y'all. Hang on.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. Let me tell you about my friend
or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that?
That's a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Hey y'all, this is Kix Brooks, and you are listening to Rick's House. Everything you need to know about home improvement. Here comes Rick.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'Cause it's Rick's House. Way down south in the rain and the heat. So get hot there, you couldn't cook an egg on the concrete. Walking around on the city streets, they go. Whew. Let the big dog eat. Let the big dog eat.
My buddy. That sounds like Joe Cocker.
Booyah! Call the doctor, call the nurse. I don't know what it is, but I know it's your age. Call the ambulance, call the cop. Call the number of the man of God. Let the big dog eat.
Brother Nicky Ray on the drums. Bo Robinson in the
Let the
Haywoods. He
big
was a
dog eat. Let it eat down.
That's in somebody's living room. That's the best.
Crazy.
Isn't that nuts? Ricky had it set up. This is it's like a metronome.
Way down.
No, good stuff on the program. Brother Ricky not with us anymore. I miss him. Good stuff on the program. And the very handsome Evan on the program this morning. I'm glad to see that you moved computers. Or did you have
I'm at the same one. I just refreshed it and my camera started working. So
where'd you hit it with?
I didn't hit it with anything. That's the point.
Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. So I was in the store the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and I said hi to Miss Nicole. I like Miss Nicole.
Oh, she's
Did
fantastic.
you see Miss Nicole in there?
I
She's
did. I
awesome.
saw her.
She is. Amy and we enjoy when we call and chat with her a little bit, and she's running all things bookkeeping over there at Permachink. I guess that's what her position is. I don't know.
She is, yeah. She is outside sales support, but she helps me with a lot of my checks and things like that because since, when I sign checks, I also can't be the one to balance the checkbook.
Well,
So
and I
she does
didn't
a
want
lot
to
of
say
things.
it. She is. She keeps you in order.
Yeah, she does.
She's a good one. We like her. She's good people. You got a lot of good people at Permachink. A lot of folks been there a while.
Yeah.
Got Sister Jan over there too. And
our director of operations, 34 years. One of the supervisors down there is over 35 years. Our head of shipping and purchasing's been there for 30 years.
that says something about the company.
Oh yeah,
People-
100%, man.
Especially in today's market, people don't stay at a company that long if
No,
they're not. They don't. And it's a good company. And of course, Permachink's been excuse me, Permachink's been with us from back in the day. And then, of course, when you got involved, we were able to rekindle that, which is awesome. And of course, you were 2 locations in Knoxville.
One location in Knoxville, and one in
Sevierville, right?
Yeah.
So you got that going on, and y'all all over the place via states that you actually have physical stores in, plus all through the distribution network. That if you need a Permachink product, you can get it. So I'm sure Bob can get it in New Jersey if he wants it. There's somebody up there selling it.
Yeah, we can. And I mean, of course, with our regular stores, we've got Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Montana, Colorado, Washington, which is where our corporate office is. I mean, we've got you covered. I mean, we can pretty well. The idea was set our stores up to where we can ship something out within, you'll have it within 2 to 3 business days, 4 to 5 business days at the most.
Right, and with the projects they're working on, they know ahead of time what they need and when they need it and how much.
Yes, correct.
So that works out good. So I was in the grocery store the other day, and I like to cook. That's just one of my things that I do. I'm look at me. I like to cook. And so caught some chicken thighs on sale. Yeah, I like chicken thighs. Of course, now that I'm health conscious and have lost a bunch of weight and doing all that kind of stuff, and with Amy having to be on a whole food diet for the things that she has, so I bought them, and I thought, I need to separate that chicken, because you get a big pack of thighs, we can't eat all that anymore. That's 3 settings. So I take them out while they're thawed, and I remove all the skin and fat. And then, we package them up in Ziplocs so that, we got serving for she and I, because it's just she and I and the cat. And we do that. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and separate those chicken thighs out, and then I'm going to maybe make something with it. Well, I've been craving enchiladas, and I don't know what happened to me, because I am not an enchilada kind of guy. I'm a burrito man. I like burritos and tacos, but I never did like enchiladas till I made it to Texas, where I learned how to make that. And I never did like Tex-Mex. I didn't like Tex-Mex at all.
It's not the same.
It's not until I got to Texas. So if you got a Hispanic brother or sister making Tex-Mex, it's a different ballgame. However, so there is Hatch brand, like the Hatch chilies.
Yeah.
Hatch brand enchilada sauce in a can. That is liquid gold. I just open a can and drink it. It is so good. I don't know if they spit in it. I don't know what they do to it, but I'm going to tell you what's the truth. It is absolute deliciousness. So I was going to make enchiladas. So typically we'll make turkey tacos or chicken tacos, and then we'll take what's left over, and I'll make enchiladas and cook them, and then let them sit overnight, because it's better when it sits overnight, and we'll have that the next day for supper or lunch. Well, I wasn't feeling the whole process of making enchiladas. You got to take the shells, and you got to put them in a little grease and the oil, and you got to cook them to their, they're flexible, but they're not, hard like a taco shell, and you got to do all that. And I just wasn't feeling it. So in my brain, I said, So I took those chicken breasts, and I put a little olive oil in the cast iron skillet.
Yep.
And Bob, this is for you, because Bob's learning how to cook on cast iron. The secret to cast iron is you got to keep it seasoned, and you got to learn your temperatures, because you got to remember a cast iron skillet, once it gets hot, it's cooking. And it ain't cooking at the temperature that it says. It's cooking hotter than that. So you got to remember that. So I put me a little oil in there. Now I'm using an induction cooktop. So I've got the big cast iron skillet. I got it on 1. I put it on 2 to warm it up. And then I dropped it down to 1, and I'm just taking those bone-in chicken thighs. You got to be bone-in. Bone-in gives the flavor. That's where the flavor, you got to get the marrow.
Yep.
And I'm setting them in there. And then I thought, now let's think about seasoning. So I went to the good old handy-dandy adobo with the red lid, seasoned one side real good, and a new spice to us that I'd never heard of. And Evan, you cook a lot too. You're about eating deliciousness.
Oh yeah.
When Amy was working, helping this, Amy has a heart for homeless. Well, we have a heart for homeless, but she has a heart for elderly folks, senior folks that maybe don't, their kids are heathens and don't have nothing to do with them. Or they live off by themselves and they've been adventurous and then now they got nobody to help them.
Right.
So Amy's done a lot of that kind of caregiving. She's good at it and she has a heart for it and she likes to cook and they like for her to cook. And so that being said, so they introduced us to a seasoning called Spike. Have you heard of that?
No, I've not.
Never heard of it. It's called Spike, just like it sounds, Spike.
I'm fixing to look that up.
And I don't know. You should be able to get in East Tennessee, I would think. But Mr. Jerry, he kept telling me he's this fellow was born with a disorder that caused his legs not to form the way that they should have. So he's been in a wheelchair for his whole life. But that sucker, he don't let nothing keep him down. Now, if he gets a hold of you from the waist up, if he can get his hands on you from where he's been pushing that wheelchair around for 70 years, he will break you in half like a twig. I mean, his upper body looks like Hulk Hogan. I mean, that man's in shape. But he makes stuff out of paracord. So he makes keychains and the little things you put on your backpack, so the zipper run, you can grab something, on the backpack and all kinds of stuff. He makes all kinds of stuff out of paracord. So he kept telling Amy, he said, she was cooking for him. He said, use some of that Spike. Use some of that Spike. She said, what's Spike? He said, it's in there in the kitchen. You get the Spike. And so she started using it, and it is absolutely, were you able to find it?
Yeah. They've got a whole line of stuff. They've got everything from original to hot and spicy to tenderizer to veggie salt, 5 herbs, gourmet onion. Yep. Spice garlic magic. Well, they got lemon pepper. Ooh, they got a lemon pepper one, Rick.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Some lemon pepper dry rub wings right there, man. Wear it out.
Oh, dude, you know it. Talk to me, Daddy. Talk to me. But I'm gonna tell you that original Spike is delicious. It's not too much. It's just enough. So I hit it with the adobo and I hit it with Spike, and then I just put a lid on it and let it slow cook. Then when it started getting brown, I flipped it over, hit it with some more Spike. No more adobo. I had enough of that. Just a little more Spike. Flipped it over, and then I went and got I can't believe it's not butter or whatever that butter is that we eat that don't taste like that. It's good. It tastes like butter, but I put a few dollops. That's a cooking word. A few dollops of that in there. Put the lid back on it and just let it cook. I probably let that stuff cook for 2 hours. Down on 1, and I turned it up to 2 to get it going, and then turned it back to 1 and just kept the lid on it and let it cook. Then I went to check it, and I thought, ooh, it's falling off the bone. It's just falling off the bone. So I took a spatula and just busted that chicken up those off the bone, but left the bone in there, and then I took 1 can of Hatch red enchilada. Now they've got green enchilada sauce, which I'm not a big fan. But they got red enchilada sauce, and just poured that over the can over that cast iron, and put the lid back on it. Woo-wee. And I let it cook till it was starting to separate from the tomato base that was in the sauce, from the oil that was in the sauce. And then every once in a while I go back in there, every half hour or so, and just mix it all back up. Oh yeah. Now it's on the Rick's House page. You can see a picture of it in the cast iron skillet. I made some Mexican rice.
Son.
And a baked potato. Took that baked potato and cooked it good, where it ain't tough. It's just got that smoked, it ain't quite fried, but it's almost fried, but it's soft because it's been baked. Busted that all up with some Mexican rice and put that in a goober. You got to goober that enchilada sauce on there, with the big spoon. Got to use a big spoon. Yeah, man, that's eating like a king.
Oh, it is.
Now the whole pack, I can make three helpings of that. The whole pack cost me like $7 for the thighs.
Well, that's what we'll go to Sam's. Me and Julia will go to Sam's and we'll grab. We'll get those big old packs of chicken legs and thighs. And
Oh, yeah.
Sam's started vacuum sealing it now. They come in vacuum sealed packs, so we don't have to pull
Ooh.
we don't have to pull the vacuum sealer out no more. So we
Oh,
put
that's
those in
nice.
the freezer and we bust them out. And that's what we eat off of. But you're talking about butter, because I know Amy can't have any kind of dairy. There's a
Yes.
butter y'all probably need to try. You can get it at Kroger. You may be able to get it at the HEB. It's called Earth Balance.
Earth Balance. I'll try it. Let me write
It
that
is
down.
a fantastic butter, because it's what we use. They've got so many different ones. They've got original, soy free, olive oil, omega 3. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, she has to be dairy free, gluten free, wheat free, especially wheat free, because she's not only is she gluten free, but she has a wheat allergy.
Yeah.
So, so we've got to do all that. But, when she first got that, when we were kids, when we were first married, it was awful. Man, you couldn't eat nothing. They didn't have nothing. But then as more people, they begin to recognize it. Now you can get anything. And there's some good products out there, like sour cream. There's about 5 or 6 different ones we use. But the Daiya, which I wasn't a fan of Daiya when it first came out, but the Daiya sour cream is good. So I take Daiya sour cream, and then there's a mayonnaise, Smash Kitchen. You know about Smash Kitchen?
I know about Smash Kitchen.
Smash Kitchen mayonnaise. Yes, sir. That's expensive. But their mayonnaise, we use the Yuka app. Did I tell you about Yuka app?
Mm-mm.
The Yuka app on your phone, if you go to the Google Play Store, you can find the Yuka, Y-U-K-A app. And I was in Walmart in Athens, Tennessee, and I was hunting for uncured ham because Amy has to eat uncured ham.
Yeah.
So I was looking for uncured ham. There's a guy in there, and I just happened to stop him. His name's Michael, and I said, Michael, I'm looking for uncured ham. He said, oh, yeah? I said, yeah. So he said, let me take you to it. And so we got to talking, and this dude had lost he said, I've lost it was 200 pounds like me. And he was thin, and he was a younger guy. And I said, well, is it a health thing? He said, no. He said, I just decided that the stuff I was eating was no good, and I was going to start eating things that were healthy for me. He said, let me show you this app. I'm like, okay. Well, the Yuka app, all you do is it's a free app, and it doesn't have everything, but it has most things. And if you're in the store, you just pull it up and just scan the barcode. It tells you everything that's in that. It scores it on a scale 1 to 100. And the higher the score, the better. And it tells you what chemicals are in it. If you should eat it, you shouldn't eat it. It's a phenomenal app. And it's all about, for us, because so many times it's expensive to certify stuff for gluten-free or dairy-free or whatever for the certification. So a lot of companies have stopped doing that. So you don't know if it's gluten-free or not, but you can scan it with that app and it'll tell you. But so I take the Daiya sour cream. I take a big scoop of the Smash Kitchen mayonnaise, which is really true. It tastes like it's got a good lemon lime base to it. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, and I didn't know this. If you look at mayonnaise is not like your favorite mayonnaise is like Duke's or Hellman's or the ones that we grew up on. That ain't like it used to be.
No.
It ain't your mama's Maytag.
No.
They're putting stuff in there that's not real. It's not an egg based. Not it's just not made like it used to be. But Smash Kitchen is. So it's mayonnaise, plant based Daiya. Sour cream, and then I take ground dill, load it up with the ground dill, hit it with a little adobo, and then you got to mix it up. You got to get them chunks out of it. You got to blend it. You got to get it all mixed up, and you just keep tasting it till you get it right, because you got to lay the dill to it. You got to lay the dill to it, and then put it in the refrigerator overnight. You talking about deliciousness. If you like dip. I don't care if you're putting on a carrot. You'll think you're eating a potato chip. So, yeah, I mean, that's some of the stuff that we're learning how to do. But, yeah, try that Spike. It is a really I don't know if it's good for you or not. Don't care. It's so delicious. I'd eat it anyway. It's great. It's good on everything. Good on fish. We eat a lot of fish and shrimp and stuff. It's really good for you. Good for taste. I don't know if it's healthy for you, but well, you can't eat everything healthy. I figured at this point.
That's the same thing with Everglades seasoning. Boy, Everglades seasoning. Whew. Of course, being from Florida, I mean, that was our go-to for everything. Fish, chicken, pork.
Man.
Put Everglades on everything. I've not had Everglades on something that's been bad.
Bob says, can Amy eat ghee? I don't know. Amy, can you eat ghee? She's like, what? And she's eating dip. Are you trying some of that dip I was just talking about? I got a head nod. She's not confessing this morning on whether or not. Bob said, can you eat ghee? She's looking at me like, what the hell's ghee? She says she thinks so. The butter with the milk solids removed. I don't know, Bob. We ain't tried that. We'll have to try that. You know, it's you know, people are so health conscious, and just because it says it's health conscious, that don't mean it's health conscious. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean it's good for you, does it, Evan?
No.
You know, so we make a lot of our own, you know, our own concoctions. And now I have found that HEB, and I learned that I can't say Heb anymore. I got scolded.
Yeah, you gotta say the HEB.
You got to say HEB.
Boy, they'll wear you out if you say the Heb.
Wear you out for saying Heb. They said that Heb. What's Heb? Now I got one buddy that's a Texan. He calls it the butt store because the guy that owns his last name's Butts or something like that. I said I don't know. I said you're going to get me killed down here. I ain't going. Where are you going? Going to the butt store? Not in Texas. You can't say that in Texas, brother. You know that's right. But they have, HEB has their, I didn't realize this. I like HEB, and here's why. And I talk about it because it's important. You know, most stores, when stuff's coming out of stock date, it goes in the dumpster.
Correct.
Because they're scared to death of getting sued for selling stuff that's out of date or giving it away or anything like that. Not HEB. Anything they have in that store that's approaching and out of date goes to food pantries.
Hey, that's good.
And they don't care. They ain't worried about being sued. It goes to food pantries, and they let that feed people. And that's and why other stores don't do that, if they'd all band together and do it, they'd stop that nonsense. Because that's the one thing I found I've noticed about down here in the state of Texas. They feed their people. You know, I just can't understand throwing all that stuff away. Now I know there are restaurants back home in Knoxville that some of the missions come in at night and gather up the food for the next day, you know, what leftover food, as it should be.
Yep.
Have you seen I think the new Burger Boys on Broadway, North Broadway in downtown Knoxville, outside of downtown, in the Wendy's is open. Is he open? Do you know?
I don't know if Andre's opened that yet. I know they should be, if not open, they should be almost close to doing it. Because that's one place I want to try, because I've heard a lot of good things about his restaurant.
Andre will put it on you. He's forgotten more about making chicken livers than, I don't know where he learned it from. If it was he told me, but I can't remember. I think it was his grandmother that showed him how to do that. But you can go in there and get chicken livers and green beans and some mac and cheese, and he's got real deep South. Now I'm talking to you now, Evan. Deep South greens. I'm talking about collards, baby. We ain't no mixed mustard and turnip greens. That's all right, but if you ain't ate some deep South collards, you ain't eat.
Boy, I had some down in Florida, and they use some, in which Julie has done it up here too. Hers is good. But I had an old man down there use some hog jaws. Put that in there. Then he went back and he while he was making greens, he made some deep South green beans. Put it in that cast iron skillet with a big old thing of thick cut bacon. Went back with some onion. Just let them slow cook with a little bit of beef broth in there on that.
Mm.
Man, them greens, man. That's my
Well,
weakness. That's
I
one
love
thing.
them.
When I was down there still for Thanksgiving, when all the family was still together, we go down there and somebody cook a big old pot of greens. Well, I'm wearing it out.
Oh man,
I got
that's
more
good.
greens. I have to get greens to be able to take care of that dry turkey that somebody fix every year.
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about tomato gravy till I got to Florida.
Man, tomato gravy.
Oh, love it.
It's good stuff. But
it's
you gotta
good
you gotta
stuff.
do it right though.
do.
It's not all good. Because I've had some
It's
nasty
not all
tomato
good.
gravy.
It ain't spaghetti sauce. If you
No.
think you putting spaghetti sauce on a biscuit, you backing up. That ain't what we're talking about. We're talking
No.
about real deep South tomato gravy on a hot lard biscuit. Oh my Lord Jesus. And Andre, I'll tell you a story. I wheeled in there one day because I had heard when he was over on Chapman Highway, and he was working that day, and he said, yeah, he's so friendly, he's just a nice guy, and he's named all of his burgers are named after his children. Did you know
I didn't know that. No, I did not know that.
They're named each of his, he's got 3 or 4 boys and a daughter, I think, but each one of them has a specific burger that he makes that's their favorite. Morning, Chad. Good to see you. Brother Cunningham Windus. Good to see Brother Chad Cunningham in there this morning. They each have a favorite. One likes it with jalapenos, one likes it double burger with this kind of cheese, and so his burgers are the kind that his kids like. And you get free fries, the home of free fries at Burger Boys. So anyway, I went in there and I told him, I said, I'm the radio guy, and that does so and so. He goes, yeah, I'll listen to you. And I said, well, you and 2 others. But anyway, but he's so nice. I said, man, I hear about these chicken livers. I got to try them. He said, all right. He looked at me and he said, you want large or small? I just looked at him. He said, large. He said, what kind of sides you want? So I told him, so he said, let me fix you up. He said, let me fix you up. So he went in there and he fixed them hot. I mean, fresh right there. Bam. Just right out of the bin, right into the old, oh. And so he got all that pulled up and got me some collards on there and some mac and cheese and put it all in there together. And he looked over at me and I said, don't even ask me if I want hot sauce. What do you think? And so he's got his special blend hot sauce that that's in and he poured that in a container for you. Man, if you like chicken livers, I love them. I don't like gizzards. I just can't eat a gizzard. That's like gnawing on a knuckle.
Oh, come on, man. You can't be hateful on them gizzards. Them gizzards are good.
I know. I knew you was going to say that because if you're from Florida, you are a gizzard eating son of a gun. I'm going to tell you
man,
something.
A little bit of Louisiana hot sauce. And boy,
No,
wear them out.
No, I'm telling you. And his are more tender than the rest of them. But
chicken liver ain't nothing but fish bait.
I love chicken livers, but I can't eat them gizzards, man. I can't gnaw on that knuckle. I can't eat that. I can't gnaw that cartilage on the end of a chicken bone either. I can't. I've admitted my faults, boy. I lost man points right there. I lost man points.
I just be fair. I don't know on that stuff on any of them chicken bones either. That's nasty. I don't do that mess.
I can't do it.
Tastes like a dirty bird. Ain't nobody want to eat no dirty bird.
I'm gonna have to call Andre and get him on the program. He'd be fun on the program, and he's a good guy, and I hope he does well. He's got a big base. I mean, people like good food, and so we're gonna have to get him on there. So that's all good stuff. But it goes back to what we were talking about. People say, Rick, why do you talk about this is a home improvement show? This is a living on the road show. This is this is that. Well, all that stuff boils back to if it's good, it boils back to prep.
Yep, it does.
It boils back to prep. When Amy and I first got married, we were building our first house. Our first house we lived in was a house that Amy's dad at his lumber yard had a house on it, and he said, if you'll remodel the house, I'll furnish the materials. I said, okay. And that's how I learned. I didn't know jack. But I started working on it, and I started learning, and I started doing stuff. So I'd ask him, I'd say, what do you think about it? He said, I don't care what y'all do to it. Of course, anything Amy wanted to do while he was for it, And we had a lumber yard with a full shop next to us with 3-phase power and planers and joiners. And so that was heaven. Boy, I miss that. That was nice to be able to go over to the shop and just walk in there and have every tool known to Jesus.
Trust me, I know about that.
You know what I'm saying? It just makes life so much easier. But we were doing that. And so when we went to build our house, we were looking for a front door, and we was in Lowe's one day. And, there was and you've seen them 1,000 times. There was a mahogany door with the one panel at the bottom and the oval, the three-quarter glass oval. Oh, Bob says you haven't lived a full life until you've eaten a homemade chicken liver pate made with brandy.
Ooh, pate. Now I'm all for that.
I'm all about some pate. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make it. I got a pate story.
Make it, dude. Lay it on me.
So when we went on vacation to the Virgin Islands, we went on vacation. We're eating down there at a restaurant called Shore. No, not Shore. Oceana. Sorry, the Oceana. It's just outside of Charlotte-Amalie in St. Thomas. They had a duck liver pate.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, and that is the first time I've ever had pate. You want to talk about good? I tore that up. I said I could eat a whole massive plate of this.
My cousin was married to a French girl. She is half French and half, her daddy was American and her mama was French. She is hateful as the devil, but she can make some pate. They're not married anymore, so I can say that. Dude, I'm all about Bob. Talk to me. With brandy. That you got the sweet from the brandy and the chicken liver. I bet that's delicious.
Mm-hmm. Does sound good.
So I'm in Lowe's, and we're back in the. I'm gonna go through the section where we're going to see what kind of discounts they got. And there was this beautiful, absolutely beautiful door. Mahogany door, 3/4 light oval with the brass caming in there, triple glaze, wasn't a cheap one. It was, the caming was in the middle so you couldn't damage it, and just beautiful. Well, along the bottom of it, it had a stain. And what had happened is somebody had spilt kerosene. A kerosene container, and that kerosene had spilt over onto the mahogany door. So my brain's working, and this was like back then. It was like it's a $500 or $600 door back then, this is 1988, 89.
Boy, you'd get a mahogany door now. You're well north of $5,000.
All day long, and it may have been $600 or $700. I don't remember. It was a very expensive door for then. So in my mind, I'm thinking. I told Amy, I said, "What do you think about a kick plate?" She said, "I'll be fine with a kick plate." So I bought that door for $200. So I took it home. So I took it over to my father-in-law, Amy's dad, who is the master. I mean, this is the guy that walks through the lumber. You had a Hardwoods Lumber Company. Walks through there and pulls out the little tiny pocket knife that he also cleaned his teeth with. Little pin pocket knife. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And there's a lumber out there that's grade where he's got it on sticks, air drying, and he'd take that pocket knife and just peel him a little corner off of it. And look at, that's pecan right there. Oh, that's some wormy chestnut. Oh, that's oak. Oh, that's white oak. That's red oak. Oh, that's sassafras. He knew it all. So I was so proud of it, and we were so proud of it. She said, "Let's go show it to Dad and see what he thinks." I'm like, okay. So we threw it in the truck, and we went over to the lumber yard and said, "Hey, we got a door." He goes, "Oh, really?" He's always real good about that, So he comes out there and I said, "We got this door." I said, "It's got a stain on it." I said, "But I think we can use it." And I said, "We're going to put a kick plate on it." And he looked at it, and he looked at me, and he said, "Son," I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "What's it stained with?" I said, "Kerosene." He said, "Do you know what kerosene is?" I said, "You use it, put it in heaters to burn." He said, "It's oil." He said, "What do you want to do with that?" I said, Amy said, "Well, I'd like to put a stain on it." He said, "Honey," he said, what's stain made out of?" She said, "Oil." He said, "Stain it." So we preconditioned it and stained it. Guess what went away?
That spot where the kerosene was? Oh,
Gone. It just blended right in with the rest of it. It had already just penetrated that section.
Oh, yeah.
We stained that. We preconditioned it and stained that door. It was absolutely. You couldn't tell nothing was spilt on it. He said, I told you. So, just because he knew, I didn't have a clue, was either dumb enough or had the good sense to listen, because I knew he knew, because that's the first thing I was going to do is take it to Jim, let him look at it and see what he thought, because he knows wood backwards, forwards, and sideways. Been working in sawmill since he was 8. So, he knows wood. Kind of like my buddy Evan. He knows wood.
Try to, man.
He's an old gizzard gnawer, though. I'm telling you right now. He's gnawing on some gizzard, dipping them in tomato gravy and sopping them up with a biscuit.
I don't know if I go that far now. That might be some stuff that don't mix too well, but not ashamed to eat a fried gizzard with a hot sauce.
I know that's right. You got to be Louisiana hot sauce, so if you're south. I mean, you got to be Louisiana. If you look at the back of our stove where our spices are, there's 2 different kinds of Mexican hot sauce. Then there's Tabasco. Then there's 2 different sizes of Louisiana hot sauce. Then there's pepper sauce. I mean, it depends. Depending on what I'm eating, it's going to have hot sauce on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to. But depending on what it is, it's going to depend on which one we put on there, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Daddy's got to get some more coffee. I'm going to do a short time out, and then we'll talk a little while longer. We might run over just a little bit today. You good, or you got to go?
Well, yeah, no, I've got to go. I'll do a quick little just heads up for everybody right now. So,
yeah, lay it on me.
If you guys need anything right now this month for retail homeowners, we're doing free shipping until the end of this month on products that are $99 or greater. And if your order gets up to, say, $500, then you start getting 10% off on all the products that we manufacture, plus a little bit more. And not going to get 10% off on your blast media, your tools, things like that, but everything else will be 10% off. Now, if you're a contractor, we didn't forget about you. We got free shipping on orders $999, which is normally 1,000 pounds free freight. So,
wow, that's a lot of freight, brother.
Yeah, definitely helps you out quite a bit. So if y'all need anything right now, give us a call, order online, go ahead and get it now before the end of this month.
Hey, and just because you don't maybe see a Permachink location where you're at, if you're listening to me out, Bob, you're in Jersey, Brian out in Washington State, wherever you're at, my Texas folks that we're picking up, over in Burleson, Texas, Jasper, over around Dallas, Fort Worth, from my buddy Mike over there, and our new friends up in Lebanon, Texas, Todd and Casey and the team up there. If you're learning about us and you're new, Jonathan, new guy that we met, who's a septic tank guy and owns an excavation company and also builds houses and has a fireworks stand. That's what I'm talking about. Entrepreneurial, brother Jonathan. So, hey, just because it don't matter, they can get that product to you. They call the 800 number, Evan, and find out, and you guys can point them in the closest direction to get that product to them.
And we can, and you can go online as well and use our, find a dealer function, put your zip code in, and it'll start pulling up people who are close to you.
Absolutely. Always good to have you, my brother. You're welcome on this broadcast anytime.
I appreciate it.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
All right. See ya. Good to have Evan on with us this morning. Appreciate that. Good stuff on the program. Great friends of the program. And, oh, my gosh, it's 10 o'clock. Listen, I'm trying out some new logos in the bottom left-hand side of the show, so that if you like that, let me know. I've got a new one I'm going to try. We got more stuff coming. We're going to be moving. Going to have some great stuff to show you on the road and all that kind of stuff. Visit our sponsors. Spend time with them. We appreciate them. We thank them so much. Knox-Rail Salvage, Permachink, GFL, Green for Life. And just because you may not be in Knoxville, East Tennessee, or Sevierville, doesn't mean that they can't service you. So go online. They're all over the country. Find out what they can do and how they can do it. You can reach me during the week at rickshouseradio@gmail.com. Thank you so much for being part of what we do. Brother Chad Cunningham Windows. Check him out. They'll take care of you. It's been a good one. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for being part of what we do each and every Saturday morning. Hey, we'll see you next Saturday right here on Life on the Road with Rick's House. God bless you. Thank y'all.
3, 4. couldn't cook an egg on the concrete. Walking around on the city streets, they go, whew, let the big dog eat. Let the big dog eat. Hoo-yah! Call the doctor, call the nurse. I don't know what it is, but I know it sure hurts. Call the ambulance and call the cop. Call the number of the man of God. Let the big dog eat. Let the big dog eat. Let him eat now. Way down, way up north in Washington, D.C. The show got a big dog and it sure can eat. Vietnam for breakfast, you and me for lunch. Tell me how you like that Washington punch. Let the big dog